And good morning. Welcome to the Morning Steam. I'm Ramon Scott coming to you from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. We're talking sports betting on a Friday after NFL and college football action last night, a baseball game that never ended and may never end until Monday. We'll see about that one. If you had to go to bed early, they didn't finish the game between the Marlins and the Mets. The Marlins had to move on to their next destination. So will it have a factor in the wild card chase? Anybody getting up for the Ryder Cup? The drama's almost over. If you haven't, you might not want to look. It's a disaster at this point for the Americans again in Europe. They already fell behind 4-0. Total disaster in the early going, and things aren't going very well in the afternoon either. They've just now finally taken the lead in a match with Max Homa and Wyndham Clark, but the European team leads two other matches, and one is tied. So right now, I mean, if it just, you'd be basically looking at something in the terms of 6-1-1. So just a disaster for the Americans here in the Ryder Cup, and we're just underway. Hello to Thomas. Thank you for joining me. We're going to talk. What are we? I mean, we're going to talk Major League Baseball. We've got 4 college football games. We got 2 WNBA. I've got to try to get to that NFL card here for Sunday. So we'll at least try to cover those early games. We're going to get started as soon as we can here and get this show underway. So, hey, let's take a look over at Tony'sPicks.com and see how it went for the crew last night. Over at the website, it was Ben Ruhala with a 3-0 day, a 3-0 night. Hollywood Sam 4-0, Tim Irwin 3-0, Nick Bartini 3-0. Some good performances from the crew. How about Ralph Raymond 4-1, and Tony T 2-0, and Daniel Walasachuk won his only play. I'm on top of the Handicapper leaderboards for the last 7 days, up 13 plus units. Nick Bartini up 11 units. Hollywood Sam up 11 units as well. Collins Brown up 6 units. And over the last 30 days, Collins is the top handicapper at Tony'sPicks.com, up over 18 units. Tony T's up 13.97. I'm up there, plus 12.68. And Nick Bartini as well, plus 11.72. Check out our premium picks over at Tony'sPicks.com. These are absolutely our best picks every day. I'm going to try to give you some free winners here in all these sports. Maybe even get to the CFL if I can. But what can we accomplish and as fast as we can here? Let's try to get this show going. Nick has a 3-pack today in Major League Baseball. Says he's on an 8-0 run. Must be nice. Collins Brown, 3-0 in college football. I won my baseball play, but 1-3 over in college football or in football. Tony T here got a best bet today, $15 best bet. And also Joseph Schultz, Nick Lagaretto's best bets as well for Friday. And Ben as well. Got those 4 college games tonight. Major League Baseball, we could touch on several games. I just want to try to get as many games as we can in here. Say hello to a few more folks and get this show started. And see how everything went with everyone. Doubles, we're just trying to hang on with the Cubs. It's just an awful feeling, though. Woo! And M looks hello as well. So we'll just get started with the show because we've got plenty of games to talk about. Some games I don't know if I can do anything about right now. I think we can actually on all of these games except for this first one where we just really don't have the line yet. In fact, I mean, like I said, we'll go to Major League Baseball first. But like I said, there's that 2-1 game for the Marlins yesterday. I mean, they're not going to be able to do that today. So the Marlins had to move on, and they've ended up in Pittsburgh, where could be Cabrera here, could be Ryan Weathers. It's an important game for the Marlins today, obviously. It's still important. Their situation, like I said, it could come down to having to play one inning on Monday in New York, as awkward as that is. And they tried to wait it out as long as they could last night. I mean, they finally put it to bed. I stayed up as long as I could. I stayed up until they called it. I was ready to, go the distance with this one. And Miami currently in the playoff picture, but they may need to they're a half a game ahead of these Cubs. It's really come down to, it feels like Miami and the Cubs right now for this third wild card spot in the National League. The Reds still have an outside chance, and San Diego actually has a pulse that they could actually be awaiting. They'd have to win every game, and everybody else would have to, lose the rest of the games, and it could come down to a situation. So Padres still with, the slimmest of pulses. But in this one, no official line yet. I think this is my line here, or maybe a consensus line. I just tried to get something together here. Could the Marlins be a road favorite here, right? They might be a bigger road favorite because of the pressure that they're going to be under. I just haven't seen a line yet. And I don't know if anybody here has, but go ahead. I feel like I'm going to want to take the Pirates here. I think this is a series, I think we're getting a little bit of built-in value with the fact that the Marlins, remember, this had to be, it felt like very late into the night. I didn't actually look. Could it have been 12:30 by the time the game was called off? 12:30 in the morning. You still gotta, get on the bus, get to the airport, fly from New York to Pittsburgh. It's not a far flight, but it's a flight in the middle of the night or early in the, early in the morning, and then they're still probably asleep right now, getting a few more hours still before you head out to the ballpark. And this one's a 6:35 start. So I think that for me, it just favors the Pirates in this. The pressure's on the Marlins, but Pirates have had a decent season. They've been, had a pretty good run in the middle. So Thomas will take the over in this one. Doubles, of course, he is rooting for the Pirates. And the Cubs, how else can they, feels like the Cubs just aren't being very clutch right now. They'll need to win today, obviously. So I'll take the Bucks. I'll take the Pirates in this one. We'll see what the price is. They might even be. I'm just trying to be conservative here with this line. I haven't seen a line, and so I'm just thinking right around there. So there's a pick. All right, we'll keep moving on here. Talk about all these games, but my play will be on the Pirates right now. Basically playing that, fact that they had to, let me get centered here. The fact that they had to, move on. It was late in the night. Okay. Hey, we have a hangover game here, but what will it mean for the Orioles? Congratulations to the Orioles. They've not only won the division, they've secured the home field advantage here in the American League, and they signed that 30-year lease. So great for our Baltimore friends that come to visit the show every day. And they were popping the champagne last night. Now, here's the thing. I think with John Means, right? I mean, every start, I still think they can be conservative with Means. You're going to get him out of there after a certain number of pitches. and everything. You get a pretty big discount here on the Orioles. Why was the Red Sox? Why were the Red Sox taking money last night? What was that all about? Orioles ended up being a premium winner for me. I'm glad I had a play in baseball. And that was a great performance by Kramer, just as felt like just as we called it in that one because, uh, a lot was on the line, and he's been the most profitable pitcher in the major leagues, and it felt pretty easy. Yeah, it was 1-0, but and every time the Red Sox they got a couple of runners at third base right here and there. So Peasy's giving doubles the business here. I could pile on doubles, but I want to pull for these Cubs a little bit. I have a soft spot for them. It's just been a rough stretch, hasn't it? All right. With Pavetta and Means here, so I'm going to think that Baltimore, well, I don't know, might be a little bit different than when we talked about the championship hangover from the night before, but I still think Means wants to go out and, he's still trying to work back into form. I think that's an important key for him. Pavetta's actually had a good couple of starts here of late. I just feel like this is an okay price with the Orioles, and they'll come out, a celebratory mood. They've won 9 of their last 12. Red Sox have struggled. There's every reason to believe the Red Sox could be live here because of the potential Baltimore hangover. And remember, Baltimore never wins. Really, really hard here for Baltimore over these years in this tough division. And they've gone from, talented prospects to this pennant, to this division title. So great job by the Orioles. I'm going to take them here today, even with the hangover, because I think for Means, he's got a 2.6 ERA in his 3 starts. Yeah, is he only going to go 4 innings? Probably. But I think it's important enough for him to have a good outing. Orioles have gone under in 7 of their last 8 and also 9 of their last 12, and Pavetta has gone under in 6 straight games. So the total pretty low here, but they could get in and out and try to get this one done rather quickly. But I'll take the Orioles here in this one. Okay. All right. There's a real important ball game here with the Blue Jays going up against the Rays here. The Blue Jays currently hold a 1-game lead over Houston. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, but they're not home free just yet. But right now, a 1-game lead over Houston, and Seattle is that other team. Those teams are still battling. Texas and Houston are battling in their own battle battling the battle in the American League West. 2-game lead for Texas. We'll get there in a moment. But for now, with Tampa Bay and Toronto here, you see Kikuchi going to be on the mound here for the Blue Jays. And like I said, 1-game lead, so nothing is safe here at this point, but that's at least a position you want to be in, Ryu. Or I've got Kikuchi in here. Let me just make sure of that. Okay. Oh, he's down to $1.40 here. Okay. Against Aaron Savali. Savali has a 7.85 ERA in his last 4 starts. Toronto has lost 3 of their last 5 games. I expect this to be pitcher's duel, a low-scoring game here, given what's on the line for the Blue Jays. The move to Kikuchi here. Nathan's got a play here, it looks. Here's Ray says he's got the under in this one. Nathan's got a little something going. First 5 under 3.5. All right. So I'm going to also take the under here. I feel pretty strong about this one. I was talking about kind of making sure that I go with some of the football games, and maybe you should be rolling with some of these important baseball games. We'll see here tonight, but I'm going to take the under with Savali and Kikuchi. These two teams have been trending over of late for the most part, but like I said, I mean, I just kind of keep going to the well all season long with these Toronto games under. They've gone, they're 25 and 40 or 29 and 45 to the under at home. So I'm going to take the under in this one with Tampa Bay and Toronto with an important game. I'm going to look for it to be a low score here. Take the under, Rays and Blue Jays. Here's the Phillies taking on those Mets. Just basically mentioning the Phillies here, given their playoff status right now. Their situation certainly there's no big deal here. Mets were Mets were basically playing spoiler. Phillies are well within right now. I just want to mention this one because, like I said, they're as it stands right now, Phillies in the postseason. I'm going to look to go over in this one as my play with Walker here going up against McGill. For Walker, he has a 6.38 ERA in his last three starts. McGill's been pretty good of late, but this one, let's see, is 8.5 under 15. Yeah, I'm going to end up going over in this one. Walker has gone over in 4 of his last 5 starts. Also, Yerfy fans, Walker has given up a first inning run in 8 of his last 9 starts. So maybe even something on the Mets here early to get the lead. I think that maybe even gives the Mets a little bit of advantage here as a dog, but McGill hasn't necessarily been profitable. We know Walker has been profitable, but Phillies don't really have much to play for. The Mets obviously haven't been playing for much. They've lost 5 of 6. Phillies have won 10 of their last 13, but they've got to be comfortable here a little bit, I would say. Thank you, Darren. Good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by today. We're going to continue to go over some of this Major League Baseball. Over for me, Phillies and Mets. I'm going to try to find a way to the Mets today, I think, given what the Phillies situation is. Here's the Nationals and the Braves, just to mention. The Braves are, on their way to the postseason. Not a big deal here. With this, I mean, I'm not going to want to I'm not interested in laying a run line right now with the Braves, despite the results yesterday in that game against the Cubs, getting the money 5-3. I'm probably going to be one more time on Washington here late in the season. Williams hasn't been very good, but going up against Winans here and Atlanta, I mean, talk about now to the total hangover, right? They've clinched everything. They are the home team all the way through the World Series. They've got absolutely not, there's jostling, right? I mean, teams still play, they don't designate the league anymore, which who holds the World Series. And Atlanta last night clinched the whole ball of wax, a literal ball of wax. They will be the home team throughout through the home field advantage, if you will, before each series starts. Anyway, that could change, but anyways, Winans did look good against Washington last Sunday. They faced him. He gave up 2 runs in 5 innings, but I'm going to take Washington here. I think we're getting probably a decent price here in this one to take a run line at +1.5. at even money or so. It's probably a little bit of plus money here in this one. Why not one more time with I have the pitching wrong there too, by the way. It's Trevor Williams. I don't know if you guys mentioned that in the chat. It's Winans is for the Braves, but Trevor Williams against Alan Winans here. Make sure I get that right. I think that's his name. Did I get it right? Winans. And here, big favorite at 275 currently. I'll take the Nationals here on the run line. Probably get some runs out of this one. I would think here. Williams gone over in 7 of his last 11, and the Braves have gone over in 18 of their last 24. Probably be a high-scoring game tonight. See if you guys got something on the Rays, on the Braves here. Thanks, you guys. Here we go with the. I'm just kidding. Hey, the Padres. They have the slimmest of chances. Everybody ahead of them would need to lose, and they would need to win. And then that one inning would have to need to. They would need the Mets to come back and win the game. Basically, is what it comes down to. So the Padres have the slimmest, slim. They hold that tie. There is, I think, a tiebreaker actually comes into play there, and they hold it. So I believe that's where the Padres stand right now. All the other teams need to lose. They do need to win them all, and then they get in on a tiebreaker, providing that one inning that they come back and play. It could be the Padres that benefit from that one inning. It could be either. I just say it because I'm trying to give my Padres a chance. They're, of course, probably toast here. Probably a good spot to go against them, actually, in this spot. Think of with these White Sox games at home, they go under so frequently. But maybe there could be some runs here today with Nick Martinez going up against Dylan Cease. Cease has a 1.93 ERA in his last 3 starts. And the White Sox have actually gone 8-5 in his last 13 home starts. So done well with Cease when he's at home. I'm going to take the White Sox today. And let's see, is the run line anything worth? I'll take them on the run line, minus $1.35 here. Give me the White Sox plus a run and a half against my Padres. I guess I'm still holding those Padres futures tickets that, we'll have a big party. And Nathan here will take them as well. Thomas is on my Padres. Here's those Cubs taking on the Brewers with Hendricks going up against Colin Ray here, and just feels like it's just so. I know we're picking on doubles here. I don't want them to feel bad. But it does feel like they've flubbed this up a bit. Hendricks has a 4.25 ERA in his last 5 starts. Colin Ray has been bad, 6.92 ERA in his last 3 starts. He's gone over in 4 straight starts. The Cubs have gone over in 8 of their last 12. Brewers have been a total under team at home, but it feels like they're going to get some runs here in this one is what I feel like. Probably end up on the Brewers here. Just talk me off of it. Maybe doubles, but I'm gonna take the Brewers. I'm not. Who is a Colin Ray fan, right? The Ray family is. So Nathan on the Cubs first 5 and lean to the over, but I'm gonna take the Brewers here in this one, minus $1. Let's see, is it $1.05 or so? Yeah. No, this one's a pick 'em now. So, if anything, it's a slight move to the Brewers here. I'm going to take the Brewers tonight in this one. The Brewers have still, remember, they've won 25 of their last 37 games right now. They're locked into their spot. There's no motivation here necessarily for the Brewers, unless you like beating the Cubs. The Cubs a half a game back, we said, of Miami currently. Every game, feeling has that must-win feel. We're down to three games left. So I'll take the Brewers in this one. Yeah, they are probably not playing all their starters for sure. Hey, CTG, nice to see you. Yeah, Nathan, we did have that, didn't we? We had that. Oh, we had the over on the show. Hey, can you listen to me just one time? Thought we did actually pretty well in baseball. Football, my winning streak ended in football. I was smashing football and just kind of laying off the baseball. We had some good baseball plays on the show. Pretty good run of wins. We had some L's in there, but Sharps would tell you that you want to play the baseball games right now on cards like this. Okay, Twins here against the Rockies in this one with Joe Ryan against Ty Block, and showing the Twins a pretty big favorite here for Minnesota given their circumstance, right? Because Minnesota, they're locked into their position certainly as well as the champs of the Central Division. So just have them up there, just kind of keep them in our focus here heading into the postseason. But seems like a pretty high line that I'm not going to be too interested in. In fact, I'm showing this total. I'm gonna grade it at 11 and a half under 15, just because I'm too lazy to change the graphic. But it's actually 11 over 20 at most spots, and I want to go over again, just like I did yesterday. So Steam did come in. Widely reported Steam came in on the under, and if anything, that's created at least almost a half a run of value for me, because I want to go over in this one. The trends would say that of late, these kind of seeing some unders here, but Ryan has a 5 ERA in his last 3 starts, and Block has an 8.5 ERA in his last 4 starts. So I'm going to try another over here last series of the season. Give me an over in this one with Ryan and Block as my free play here on the show. And probably going to find my way to the Rockies. Plus a run and a half at even. Probably going to make a bet somewhere along the line. Can't be a premium, right? You don't want to go premium on a Colorado Rockies team here with, end of the season. I was talking about Bud Black yesterday, not Ty Block, but Bud Black. And, I guess Bud Black could survive another season. Hi, Kev Cook. Nice to see you. But it feels like Bud Black could survive. Now, it looks like the manager that's going to have trouble actually. We'll see what happens on Monday and who gets fired, but it does seem like the only one that may be on the hot seat. I don't want to see it, but Phil Nevin of Oakland may not. Tough. I mean, what are you going to do, right? But if you're Phil Nevin, what do you got to work with? So I don't think it's over for Phil Nevin, but I don't know if he's going to be able to survive as manager of the A's. He didn't even probably get a fair shake, but that might be I don't know who else. I mean, of course, we can go to some of the obvious candidates, in New York, if you will. I don't know where else we could be thinking about, but Thomas Lewis maybe hinting at a year fee in the game between the Twins and the Rockies. Ryan's allowed a run in the first inning in 6 of 28 starts. block is allowed to run in the first inning in 2 of 12 starts. It's a little bit better than average. All right. A few more games here, and the big one, Rangers and Mariners. Looks like Nathan Eovaldi is going to get the ball here. Some of the books, I think some of the books still not ready to come quite out with the line here. I think the situation here is we don't know if Eovaldi is the official starter yet. I don't think he's been named the official starter. So you've got really undecided going up against Wu. Going to kind of ride with Eovaldi here, I think, is what we're talking about. Let me see what I had before. Let's see. Yeah, let's talk about Eovaldi here and think that that's what's going to happen. He's got a 7.4 ERA in his last 5 starts, and for Brian Wu, he's got a 4 ERA in his last 5 starts. The Mariners have won 5 of the last 7 games with Wu, but Seattle has lost 12 of their last 19, and Texas has won 7 of their last 9 games. But Mariners, exciting, nice job last night. And let's see, $1. Like I said, let me look at the line. Let me go behind the curtain here a little bit and see if that line, maybe even down to $1.20 right now, and the total is 7.5 under 20. So feels like kind of a nice price here to me on Seattle here. I think I'm going to be on the under, however, as my play here on the show. I'm going to go under in this one. It's got to be tight. It's got to be exciting. I know the Rangers have been they've been putting up massive runs here. We're having some high-scoring games over the last month, really. I mean, they've gone over in 24 of their last 34 games, and the Mariners have gone over in 14 of their last 25, but Wu's gone under in 7 of his last 9 starts. I'm expecting in Seattle this to be a low-scoring game, and I'm taking the under 7.5 between the Rangers and the Mariners in this big game tonight. Rangers right now 2-game lead currently over Houston, and the Mariners are 1 game behind Houston. So, guess who's interested in this game? Houston. And they have their own important game that we'll talk about in a moment. So I'll take the under here. Looks like you guys might have something here talking about in the chat. With, let's see, Nathan talking about his action here. Thank you. Thomas maybe a nerfy here in this one. They did right. And Chapman, I didn't want to belabor the point. I know that, but, you just felt like when Chapman couldn't get a guy out, right? All right, so Rangers and Mariners here. What Thomas was talking about the nerf, Eovaldi, he's allowed to run in the first inning in 5 of his 24 starts, and meanwhile Wu is allowed to run in the first inning in 6 of 17. That's not great. All right, let's take the under here, and probably I might have a little premium action in Major League Baseball. It's got to be an important game. Everything's got to be aligned at this point. And, after losing a couple of football games, you guys are talking about the totals in there. Yeah, I tried to slam those unders again, and that didn't work out. We didn't even really hash up that football game, did we? I didn't see you guys talking about it, so maybe I didn't want to talk about it. How about the Reds and the Cardinals here with Williamson and Woodford? Well, the Reds, they're kind of in the they need to win them all pretty much. I think they could. Let's see. No, because the tiebreaker. I think they do have to win them all and then need help. but they're up against the Cards here, and reasonable price. I'd have to probably side with the Reds here in this one with Brandon Williamson on the road. Williamson has a 7.36 ERA in his last 4 starts. The Cardinals have Woodford apparently in reserve here in this one. Mostly a bullpen game. Cardinals have lost 7 of their last 9 games. The Reds have lost 5 of their last 7. But Reds have the motivation. They have Williamson. I think it's a good spot for the Reds. I am going to take the over in this one, even though the Cardinals have not really been producing very many overs right now. I couldn't really point the trends to you here. I'm kind of looking for the Cardinals to be able to get a little bit done against Williamson, and I think the Reds can put the runs up here against the Cards. The total here is 9 over now, so probably not a I like the game over, not getting the best of the price here, but these teams have been going under. So, all right, Thomas agrees with me. Here's the Astros and Diamondbacks, that big game that we wanted to discuss here as well because of the Astros situation, certainly, and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are, like I said, probably still feeling a little bit comfortable here to a certain extent. They are, 1.5 games ahead of Miami right now. They've got to be feeling pretty good about their situation tonight. They are a slight underdog or a slight favorite here against JP France and the Astros. Astros, a precarious position right now, just a game ahead of Seattle. I mean, they got to focus on just taking care of their own business. You can't worry about catching Texas here at this point. That might be too much to ask. Just make sure you get in the playoffs. So winning these games on the road against Zach Gallen. I mean, Zach Gallen, we know how strong he can be at home. For France here, he's got a 6.2 ERA in his last 4 starts, and Gallen has an ERA of 4 in his last 4 starts. Arizona's won 8 of their last 11 games. The Astros have gone over in 6 of their last 9. Arizona's gone over in 9 of their last 13. I'm going to take Arizona, I'm sorry, let me get this right. Let's take Houston here in this one on the road at even money or so. Right now, I'm actually showing a little bit of plus money here. Arizona might be taking some of the action here in this one. And maybe, Gallen can be so strong. The Arizona's won 6 of his last 9 starts. But I will say that JP France, the Astros, have won 11 of his last 15 starts. So Gallen's had good numbers against Houston. France has never faced Arizona. The reported steam did come in on the over here. I expect there to end up being some runs in this game. So let me take the Astros tonight on the road. And maybe some volatility here. I'm going to take the underdog Astros in this one. And under for Ray, however, I think CTG over. Thomas said under. And hello to Darren. Oh, I did say hello to Darren, but he's on the Astros. Okay. All right, one more in the major leagues, and Dodgers. I don't think there's much going on here now, but I just wanted to mention this game because it's Lynn against Win. That should be enough for you in this one with the Dodgers on the road, and it is Dodgers Astros to wrap up the season. So Lynn has a 3.5 ERA in his last 3 starts. The Dodgers seem, even though they're going through the motions, they just seem to continue to get it done. And I'm going to end up taking the Dodgers here tonight. I mean, they're $1.40 or so. Give them to me again. Hey, you don't need any motivation to. It doesn't matter if you're the Dodgers already in the postseason. You're playing the Giants. That should be enough. Giants have lost 11 of their last 14. Dodgers have won 10 of 13. I'm taking the Dodgers. Free play tonight. All right. Let's quickly move to the WNBA. And I'm going to take a look at the game here between the Liberty and the Sun. Make sure I got these lines right here, because maybe there's been some. I don't think, these games have had a day to simmer, so I don't think we're seeing too much movement here actually at this point. Liberty and the Sun series tied here at 1. Sun getting the points here at home. I'm interested. I'm very interested. I think at this point in Connecticut, plus the points. They've already earned one road win. We kind of came back on the Liberty a little bit, but I'm gonna be on the Sun in this game. Plus the points at home. I'm not sure on this total. I kind of wanted to maybe save the Sun for a premium, but I want to give a play out right now, and I'm not so sold on the total at this point, even though, of course, under was probably the way I was going to look. Let me at least go with the Sun here in this one against the Liberty as my play. The Sun have won 5 of their last 7. The Liberty's just fine. I mean, they've won 17 of 20 coming in, but they have failed to cover in 5 of their last 6 games, and Connecticut has now covered 5 of their last 7. So I think for me that might just sum it up there a little bit. Might actually have that by one off there, but 1 game off. But nonetheless, I do like some momentum here for the Sun. And I'm going to take them plus the points. Okay. Other game here. Aces and the Wings. And of course, the Aces lead this series 2-0 and can wrap it up here tonight with a victory in Dallas. I think they will do so. I certainly think that they can win this game and probably crush the Wings. I'm going to trust them and lay the points here. It was 5.5 up to 6.5. I'm going to take the Las Vegas Aces to close out the series here against the Wings. Dallas has kind of done pretty well in the series covering spreads, but Aces to wrap this one up in 3 games tonight on the road. Appreciate your WNBA comments. Darren's on the Aces. Nathan likes the Aces. He also liked the Sun on the money line in that other game. All right. College football now for tonight. Just going to roll through games here. Take a look at this 4-game card. Try to give out some winners here on the show. Last night I had a premium winner on the under in Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky, but I had under in the other 2 games as well. They went over. I tried to roll with the road teams as well, and that didn't work. Jacksonville State somehow got the money for most. I think we were in there at 6.5 on the show anyway. Kind of funny because looking back at it, Sam didn't cover and Sam looked pretty good. And the reason why it ended up probably being a higher scoring game with those early touchdowns is, thinking about the type of competition that Sam was up against, even though they weren't overwhelming opponents, I'll just say. But, even against Jacksonville State, I mean, remember, these are the two teams that came in from Division One, so maybe they were a little bit more comfortable offensively. I should have seen that coming. All right, let's get into 4 games from college football tonight. And start with, let's see what we got. Louisville here going up against NC State. In this one, we have Louisville, a road favorite now at minus 3.5. It opened as low as 2.5. It was as low as 1. But Louisville has since taken action here and now are laying a hook on the road. That seems kind of precarious, actually. It does seem like there is some support out there from handicappers on Louisville, but I have concerns now, especially laying an extra half a point here on the road. You have a Louisville team. They have, wins over Georgia Tech by 5. They beat Boston College. They basically did double them up, 56-28. But Louisville has given up 900 yards so far. You remember, North Carolina State lost to Notre Dame. No shame. They weren't close to covering, so they definitely underachieved in that game. But they beat Connecticut by 10. They beat Virginia by 3. I mean, that's, not something you're going to necessarily brag about. And Armstrong, what can you say? That's who you have. Wolfpack, not exactly a great cover at home necessarily, but Louisville, they're probably just strictly average in this role. Under 6-2, last 8 in this series. Man, this total, it opened 56.5 at Circa when we did the show on Sunday, and it was bet all the way down to 54.5. There was an early look ahead that was much lower than that. I don't put much stock into that. I would think there's going to be some points scored in this one. Maybe I just that old recency bias drug I need from last night with all the scoring. But even at 55, I am gonna feel like the way to go is high scoring game here. So. Oh, Tony Don. Oh, wow. Well, man, I kind of wanted to go the other way here. Sounds like we might be doing a little challenge with Tony and I. I've just got it a close game. I'm going to take NC State with the hook. He may have actually called, I don't know when, or I think his video, you know what it is? I don't have Tony's pick because his video comes out for the Friday games on Friday, and I don't think I've seen it yet, actually. So sounds like we'll just do a little challenge. Sounds he doesn't know it. He doesn't care on that, but I'm committed to NC State here. I think in this one to grab these points at home. I don't have any problem with what is going on with Louisville. I mean, NC State does not. They're 3-1. They don't look as good as 3-1. Louisville's 4-0. Maybe they're not all that, although they've been, pretty good. Obviously, I think they. I think Jeff Brom is probably a pretty good situation there. So, but we'll see. This is still a pretty interesting matchup. Certainly familiar matchup here in conference. So I will take NC State plus the points. All right, Louisiana Tech is going to take on UTEP, more conference action on Friday night here. And Louisiana Tech is a one. Well, let's just clear it up right now because this one's been back and forth. And now I'm showing maybe even a pick-em, maybe even UTEP's favorite here. Whatever the case may be, it is a close game. Let's just call it a near toss-up. But them showing this morning that UTEP maybe has moved to a 1-point favorite here, and the total has crept up another point to 51 with Louisiana Tech and UTEP. The total opened 48.5 when we were on the air with the circus show on Sunday. It also opened UTEP -3, and they gobbled that up right away and got it to pick up, basically. So Louisiana Tech, I mean, it's been a struggle coming out of the pandemic. They have won they're not winning very many games, but I don't know. They're expected to do so here against UTEP. I don't know if I'm buying it necessarily now. UTEP's, this game isn't going to be the most watched game of the night. That's for sure. They haven't looked good at all. They've allowed in their losses, well over 110 points. They are 12-9 against the spread last 3 years in conference. All they'd have to do is win this one, but it's been all Tech in this series. They've won 9 of the last 10 in this series. And so, but is Louisiana Tech? They're not very good either. Let's just cut to the chase. Louisiana Tech is 5-15 against the spread in their last 20 road games. I do have a quarterback, came in from Boise, but they beat FIU 22-17 and did not cover. So total for me, boy, I don't even know if I can do anything with this one. But I want to trust UTEP here maybe to get a victory. It seems like things aren't going very well right now for the Miners. So Louisiana Tech isn't necessarily stopping the run. They're not really stopping anything. They're giving up 475 yards a game so far. So how can I trust them really to win this game other than series history? Maybe that's what maybe that's what you can hang your hat on a little bit there, but that goes back kind of a ways, right? I'm on UTEP tonight at home, ugly game, and I'll take the Miners here in this one. Let's get to a good game. Oh, we got some comments here in Louisiana Tech and UTEP. All right. Here's Nathan's got a lean. Okay, Ray's on UTEP. All right, let's get to a good one tonight with Utah and Oregon State. Just got to worry, Cam Rising, is he going to play? And do we want him to play at this point? I don't know. The other quarterback's been just fine, right? Or at least fine enough. We're 4-0 for Utah. 4-0 Utah. 3-1 Oregon State. This is a great game. Of course, Oregon State lost that thriller to Washington State in the Pac-2 championship game, 38-35. They gave up massive passing yards, and here you got to face Tagovailoa. Utah covered against Florida in a 13-point win. They didn't cover against Baylor, but they won. They barely didn't cover. They won 20-13 as a 7.5-point favorite. So, and of course they covered they covered that dramatic 14-7 game. So Utah's just been terrific so far. If any, really, they played two quarterbacks. So here's the thing: Utah, they're not very good as a road underdog. Usually this is a bad situation, or really bad. I mean, really one of the worst. 2-8 their last 2 years as a road underdog. So no, it doesn't feel like a very good spot here for Utah finally. And it's almost been a runaway favorite a little bit here for when we were on that circus show. I think they opened at it was immediately bet up to 2. I want to say it was a pick'em. I actually have to go back and watch it now. Because there was an early look ahead that had a Utah 1-point favorite in this game, but that was maybe before we knew that Oregon State was going to be pretty okay, pretty darn okay. Let's just say it like that. I mean, Utah's done very well in this series, but this is a totally different situation now. Oregon State has a strong team. So, but look at this number, the total at 44.5. Maybe there's going to be some defense here, but aren't we supposed to be in the land of the court? The steam came in on the over, but it's 44.5. And it did go as low as 44, and there was some buyback, but it opened 47.5. You're supposed to have, Utah. At least Utah should have a, pretty. Now they do have one. Out of the two quarterbacks, one's kind of the runner and one's kind of the passer. If you have Rising in there, he's better than both of them. He's supposed to be one of the better prospects in the country. So why are we expecting a low-scoring game? I'm expecting a low-scoring game as well. Just hard to kind of consider given that these, quarterbacks can be good. We'll see with Rising status too. He hasn't started yet. So apparently he's getting close. Do we have to wait on, that status? So, all right. I will be on the over in this one with Utah and Oregon State. With or without Rising. And we'll see on the side, but would like to know his status before I make the call, but I'm kind of thinking the home team here. It is a lot of points, but remember, Utah not very good as a road dog in the past. And this certainly kind of falls in line with the type of road dog situations I think they've kind of been in. Not at Oregon State, because we know Oregon State is in a real high point right now, but I think they certainly can be equated, especially given the Pac-12's strength at this point. And as I was taking a shot at the Big 12 for being down, this year, pretty bad. It looks like to me. Kev Cook says it went down to 3.5. Yeah, all right. I love it. All right, I'm showing 4.5 at my. And let me refresh my book that I'm looking at, and then I'll look at also the. I can look at the line screen too back here. Yeah, I'm showing a 4s right now at book 10 minutes from me. So I'm showing mostly 4.5s and some 4s. I don't see a 3.5 yet, but that would be if there is 3.5 starting to appear. To me, that indicates that the information is rolling in here that Rising is more likely. And Thomas said it right there. Let's see, in the baseball steam move I want to throw in here while we're on the air, Chicago and the Cubs and the Brewers. This one's moving higher. It could be moving towards 8 over. It could be, I don't know if it's going to get to 8.5, but Cubs and Brewers look like it's on the move over right now. So let's add that in there. All right, Kev, FanDuel. Great news. Thank you. I can wait it out then a little bit here if I were on Oregon State. All right. Let's go over this interesting game tonight with Cincinnati and BYU. This is a conference game, but it just feels, because this is their first time meeting as conference foes, right? So BYU lost their conference debut last week against Kansas, 38-27, and Kansas held them to just 9 yards rushing. Is this what it's going to be like? Now, it's interesting because you're not taking on, one of the older, you're taking on another new team, right, in Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, they beat Pittsburgh 27-21 as a 6.5-point dog. Of course, they do have a couple of losses as well right now. They're 2-2. And let's see, BYU. They've got Slovis, and I'm seeing some sharp cappers certainly here on BYU. The total opened 52.5 when we were on that Circus show. It did get as high as 54, but it's been kind of a steady progression here. In fact, I'm showing it right now, 49.5, actually. That's actually up from that 48. I had these graphics in there, I think, at least about a day or two here, but Cincinnati here, let me put the total right at least here at 49.5. Because I think I'm not so sure I can see these two teams putting up a lot of points necessarily in this one. I know the steam did come in. I think the widely reported steam did come in on the over. BYU has been, they, like I said, they were a 3.5 point favorite when this opened at Circa, but it's been almost all Cincinnati, which is interesting because, like I said, I feel like cappers all around the industry are on BYU heavy. BYU feels like a heavy capper play, but this move has been all Cincinnati. So how do you guys explain that? I'm supposed to be on here explaining that, and I don't know if I can necessarily in this one. I do see a few comments from you guys with Nathan. People are like, maybe they're trying to pump up BYU here a little bit. They're 3-1. I know. I kind of want to be against these guys a little bit. I kind of want to be against the crew here a little bit. That's what makes me, that's what, I'm kind of feeling in this one. So, all right. Well, for me, I don't know, getting the points now, maybe I'm going to be on, maybe I can get to BYU. I don't know. But it just feels like to me like the move on I should respect this move. So I'll take Cincinnati. I'm going against all my buddies. It feels like today. Maybe like last night, they were all laughing at me, having a couple losers after I was talking a bunch of smack. And, took my lumps last night. So I'm on the Bearcat. I'm on the Bearcats here. Everyone else is on BYU, and then they can laugh at me again tonight. I was hot. I had an off night. All right, we're keeping it real here on the show. Let's go to National Football League and get this show going. Actually, I flubbed that one up too. Ended a real win. It was 11-2 11-2 and 1, 11-3 and 1, because 11-3 and 1 my last 15 NFL, and took an L last night. 11-4 and 1 now. Thanks, Kev's on the Bearcats. All right. All right, let's go to some NFL. I want to pick some winners here after last night in the NFL. Okay, I'm still having a hot NFL season. I think I still have a top record compared to all these other similar guys on these sites, but all right. Whoops. I'm going to take the Lions in this one. How about it, you guys? Lions look good, didn't they? Did a good job. What is it about Jordan Love? He doesn't, get off to a real good start. You want to hit Jordan Love up later in the night. And he's a little better, so we'll see. But all I would say right now, Nathan's ready to cash. I didn't even look up at the scores yet, but I do see right now 2-1-1 currently now on the afternoon session here. So if what can you say, Nathan, in this? If it is 6-1-1, this thing's going to be over before it even got started. All right. Falcons and I should actually put Falcons versus Jaguars, right? But I think Jaguars are technically the home team. We know they already feel comfortable playing in the games over in London. So we know that uh, because they've done it more than any other team. I mean, Shad Khan, the owner, is kind of used leverage, saying, "Hey, Jacksonville, if you don't get us a stadium, we're going to go to London." Now, it looks like Jacksonville is going to finally work something out and get themselves a stadium. That's going to be great. But what they really need to do is, fix these slow starts, fix the offense more a little bit. Thomas is going to be on the Falcons here. Doubles is talking about the Bears. All these mistakes, Doubles, the Bears just keep making, right? I mean, God. Yeah, Jacksonville's been over here more, but they're a favorite here against the Atlanta Falcons, man. The Atlanta Falcons, okay, they got Desmond Ridder. I get it. But you know what? This is what you're going to get from Desmond Ridder, all right? Really a game man. Look, you know what? You want somebody else quarterbacking? Probably. But you got Desmond Ridder, so what are you going to do? You're just going to have to roll with him. Can the Falcons run the ball? They can run the ball with the best of them. Are the teams that are running the ball looking good? Yeah, they're looking really good. They did, they ran. They had 44 yards in the game they lost, but they've had 211 games so far, 211 yards rushing so far in one game. That was impressive. I think against Jacksonville, they can, do well here as well. They just have to get off to a better start. Darren says he likes under, but he'll buy it up here or tease it up to here to a higher number there at 47. Here's the thing about these, it's almost like the primetime unders a little bit too, to a certain extent. But this field at this particular venue has really been an under over there. And this one, it just feels like a this has been the slower surface when they went over there, actually. And the Falcons have gone under in 9 of their last 11 games. So this has been, a good series for the Falcons. They've won the last 4 against Jacksonville, and they're allowing only 14 points a game to the Jaguars in those games. The Jaguars haven't beaten Atlanta in quite a while. And so for me, the Jaguars, 2 straight losses right now. They were outscored 54-26 in their last 2 games, and they got off to slow starts. Both these teams, very slow starters. Talk about some unders, under first half. Maybe these teams just can't get it going early on. The Jaguars haven't had a touchdown in either of their game for the last 2 games in the first half. The Jaguars just don't fare well against the other conference for whatever reason. So I don't know. I don't put much stock into the, all-time series thing. I just thought it was interesting to know. Remember, Jacksonville's been very, very bad, but it harkens back a little bit to, for some reason, they don't play the NFC games very, very well. To me, sometimes those stats I kind of throw out, but it stands out so much in this one. They are 7-31 against the spread against the NFC. Hi, Ferner. Oh, great. Yeah, we'll be rolling on the NBA. Great. Awesome. So I'm going to be here on the Falcons. I'm taking these points. I'm buying a hook. I'm doing whatever I can to get a little bit of something extra here, I think, in this one. But I'm gonna try the Falcons here with our man Art Smith, right? I mean, he just I like this guy. I like the Falcons have been doing a pretty okay job so far. I'm not too worried about the collapse a little bit, but let's take them here plus the points. Jacksonville does not cover numbers well at all. Come on. They're also 12-24 against the spread off of a loss. And they're just not covering numbers. So this one, London games could come down to a field goal. Oh, sorry about that, Ferner. I don't know how to fix that necessarily, but uh, hopefully you're on the Tony's pick side. I don't know if I can do anything. I don't know if I can fix that. That might be a YouTube thing. A big game right here between the Dolphins and the Bills. This is the game of the season so far, isn't it? With the Bills and the Dolphins. We could talk about that 70s show, but everyone's talking about that. Now you're facing the Buffalo Bills. You're not going to be lucky, This is different. We know how this, series is kind of gone, right? It's all Buffalo. They've won 8 of the last 9. Now Dolphins usually do cover the spread here, but they've been getting more points in the past than this. Almost every time. And when Buffalo's in a groove, that's really when they kind of start to pick it up. But this Dolphins team, it does feel different, right? With the genius a little bit, we started to get down on Allen, and you know what? He's come up pretty strong all of a sudden again. So maybe just needed to dial it back a little bit. Buffalo outscored their 2 opponents 75-13 over those last 2 games, and man, they've been solid on third down conversions. They get numbers at home, but man, the Dolphins off that big, it's going to be something to say, and makes it look enticing, right? With that 2.5 right there. So that's kind of the interesting thing about that is the fact that it's down under that key number now, in a series that really has been dominated by the Bills. So Dolphins are probably going to get a lot of attention at the window off of the 70-point performance. No matter what, I just don't think that's can be ignored necessarily. Now, the Dolphins 22-11 against the spread, coming off of a win. This is going to be great. And could it come down to the wire? Of course it could. But the Bills series history does seem significant to me. And look at that total, boy. 53.5. It opened 49.5 on the look ahead, but after the 70-point performance, when the line reopened, it was 53.5. It went up to 54, maybe even touched 54.5. Has since been bought back down to 53.5 here pretty much right now. Teams they've gone over in 6 of their last 9 meetings, and I've got to go over in this one for sure. I think we're gonna have a fun afternoon, aren't we? We're gonna have some fun with this one. No reason why we can't have both teams score well into the 20s here. Have a great time. I can't be Mr. Under here. Although Buffalo, they do kind of trend under at home. 18 of their last 32, not a big deal, but nonetheless. So Miami with those big plays last week, it seemed like every time you turn around, that's not going to happen this time. That was more about Denver than it was about Miami, I think. I'm pretty sure. This Miami situation is special to a certain extent that Miami, is starting to they're for real as far as they're a contender in this series. They're in this game as a 2.5-point underdog in the game of the year. But it's still going to be a big hurdle. It's like the one you kind of got to get over if you're going to be the team, if you're going to be the man. Darren says Miami all day. Thomas on Buffalo. Ray stays with Buffalo. And when I say stay, right, because it's like we're staying with Buffalo because it hasn't necessarily turned around just yet. But like I said, Dolphins usually get the money here, but they're usually getting more points. So it was great comments on this game here, actually. Turner, I'm just doing NFL right now because I didn't do it yesterday, and just seemed to work out better. I was on for way too long. I said I was going to do it yesterday, and by the time 2 hours, I had to get off the air. Can't go on for more than 2 hours. I start to, all right. Appreciate your comments on this one. I'll take the over here with Buffalo and Miami. I don't think there's much value left in this one. Of course, if it was, that look ahead, we could all say that. It's 53.5. So I hope it goes over. Here's one that could go over, I would think, with the Vikings and the Panthers. Look, you can make fun of the Vikings all day. They definitely have a pretty good passing offense, that's for sure. But for whatever reason, they were the luckiest team last year. And what are they, the unluckiest team this year? They're just not very good. Maybe they're just bad. And again, that's what I say about the thin margins in the NFL. Is that's why teams go from first to worst a lot of times in this league. And again, it's not so much about, the equivalent of who you play. Yeah, you play a tougher schedule the next year after you've had an easy schedule. And when you're talking about the way the margins are. Now, look, the Vikings are kind of they opened 3.5 for the most part. But there were some shorter lines than that. And now you're up to 4. It was as high as, in fact, it's 4.5. And why, Bryce, is that because Bryce Young was announced as the quarterback? Look, I think that's the reason why last week I was on the Panthers. I said, give me, Dalton last week. It didn't even work out, but he did throw for 334 yards. I mean, he was a good fantasy quarterback, but I think I had the game script right. You could have the game script right and not cover the spread, I guess, right? I said I want Dalton, but again, sometimes that is the reason why, right? If you end up doing a lot of passing or whatever the case may be. Carolina is a pretty 5-1-1 last 7 as a home underdog, and looks like Bryce Young will get the start here. It was announced yesterday that he's probable. So I would think they would go back to him here, and this looks like a fine time to do it. One of these teams is going to be 0-4. Carolina's lost by 27 points, 17 points, and 10 points so far. And they really weren't getting much done with Bryce Young at quarterback. They were better with Dalton, certainly. But who wants to trust the Vikings as a road favorite? They don't look very good at all. They don't look good, even with that offense. They're already at -7 in turnovers. So they've given up, they're giving up TDs left and right. I would think Carolina could score here. Yeah, this to me, it follows the script that I've been following to get a lot of wins right now in the NFL. Road favorite. Has been going under, but I don't think this one is. It's up to 46.5 now. I guess I've got to give it out on the show. I can't go premium. Not when it was as low as 44. And everyone's thinking the same thing. But Carolina Vikings are going to be able to score. Carolina, I mean, they certainly would have to prove themselves here. Bryce Young wasn't necessarily doing as much. No guarantee he is a starter yet. Like I say, it's probable. I would imagine they're going back to Bryce Young. I think that's what everything is saying, too. But Kirk Cousins, I mean, maybe he puts the team into such situations, but I'm going over. I'm just going over. That's all there is to it. Even though, sometimes NFL, these road favorite unders, not a lot of handicapping to it. And I don't want to say it like that because NFL, I'm doing very, very well. And I'm not saying that's the only reason. I don't do it like that, but that's where the starting point is. So I usually look to the starting point and then, see, is it indeed the way that I want to go? And here, the starting point is look to the under first because you've got a road favorite in the NFL. But I don't think that I can do that in this game. I think I'm going over. I am going over as my play for sure. Now at 46.5, for darn sure. All right. I don't trust the Vikings cover on the road right now. Mm-mm. All right, well, got to do it to you. We don't need an octo box or whatever a 9 box is, but because we could leave this game off along with the Vikings and the Panthers, give me a septo box or something. And one of the other games is pretty bad too, right? What, the Rams and the Colts? We could leave that one off. So just give me a 6 box or YouTube 4 boxes. Anyways, the Broncos and the Bears, you guys. This is just Broncos gave up the 70. The Bears just are woeful. The worst team in the league, I think. Sorry to Doubles. Sorry to the Chicago crew in the chat. They know it. They know it. So Denver. Remember, they lost the first 2 games by just 3 points. So combined, and then gave up the 50-point loss to Miami. And it looked like they weren't even trying it at one point, right? I mean, look how Miami was scoring on those runs and stuff. So Denver's lost 14 of their last 17. Now they're a road favorite here by 3, even against the Bears. Coming off that's how bad the Bears are, right? I mean, the Broncos coming off the 70-point game. So it's just been bad. The Bears are allowing 35 points per game right now. They've given up 11 touchdowns already this season. So, I don't think that the Broncos can be a 3-point favorite. I mean, it just feels like this game's going to be just some ugly, low-scoring game that can get you home with taking the points at home, because it might be 18-17, or it might be 16-15, or it might be 21-20 or 19-20 or something like that, where you're still going to be able to get home on these points. Doubles is here. He is our Chicago correspondent. He says under 46. He's also got the first quarter under and the first half under. Why wouldn't this be just a total, under situation, just because of just terrible football? So I'm going to take the Bears plus 3 points. I feel like I don't know what anybody's doing at this point. I don't think anybody wants to even take a stand with these 2 teams. But somebody's got to take a stand here in this bad matchup. So Chicago just 4-7, their last 11 as a home underdog, and this isn't going well for Fields. I tried to back him a little bit, back when he was, when he'd move around. It seemed, why doesn't he move around? Why does he take the pocket sacks, Mr. Roboto? What's the worst they can do to you? Go take off. Go be Justin Fields. Does not want to get hit. I don't know what's going on. Russell Wilson, it's just been he's 4-14 with Denver. His career's over. Come on. It's not like he's gonna he's gonna find it or something, or his stock is gonna rise or anything like that. So who's gonna lay points with? Give me the Bears. Give me money line too. I don't care. I do care very, very much. I don't want the Broncos ever to win a game. I'm a Chargers fan. But I'm certainly going to bet on the Broncos here and there. I didn't hear Mike North's comments, but I like that, Doubles. And he, obviously, was that on his show? Or was that on national? Did he say that on a national show or on his local Chicago show? Here's the thing about what I've said about Dion, that I don't. why isn't it possible that Dion does become an NFL coach right away and coach Shedeur Sanders on a really bad team and say, hey, it's a package deal? It looks like a fun deal, right? I mean, bring him in, see if it works. There's no doubt. Lightning. You might say Dion's a lightning rod. Maybe he can't even coach. Maybe he's. We've already seen him make a mistake with the analytics. Remember when he took the ball first? Now he did say in the post game press conference because a lot of national gambling media was saying, well, he made a huge mistake. He did make the mistake analytically, but he did clarify his comments. He said, I wanted the ball first and I wanted to go score. Now, he may have just been saying that because once he found out all the analytics, because, back in the day when we were playing sandlot football, you always want the ball first or whatever. Right, even before the analytics, when they had certain take the ball first or whatever. But we all know now it's wrong. But he did say in the post-game comments, I want the ball first. Anyways, for whatever you want to say about Dion, no one can argue about his status in professional football as one of the best players of all time. All right, we'll take the Bears here. And interesting what Kev Cook is saying there about doubles. Mike North still. I mean, he's he's on national. That's what I was saying. I hear him on the Vegas sports gambling, that national channel every week. So and of course, I mean, he was also kind of one of those old school cappers. Kev Cook talking about Trubisky, right? And look at that right now. Pittsburgh said, hey, we want a guy like Trubisky, because we've got Pickett. We don't know what's going on, and we might need Trubisky. And boy, wouldn't the Bears like to have a guy like Trubisky right now? And that's not even saying something. I mean, maybe he'd be no better but you might want to try something other than Fields the way it's going. And I don't want to say that. I wanted to give Fields a chance. I mean, I'm not comparing. Well, let's just see. We're going to get to the Texans game in just a moment. But, I mean, obviously, we can talk about what's going on there. All right, Bears. Bears it is for me. Bears. Ravens and Browns. Great game, right, everybody? Really good game here with these two. The Browns, man, they have a Super Bowl caliber defense. I don't think anybody can disagree with that right now. They've given up 3 points in one win. They gave up 3 points in another win. Now, they did give up, 26 points in that Steeler game. It was a night game, right? I mean, look, Thursday, what was Thursday? So whatever. Steelers had all that momentum in the division game. Cleveland's out gaining their opponents like 2 yards to 1 so far. Cleveland's like one of the best teams in the league. And there are not too many good teams left. And I think Cleveland is up there with them. They're around the bottom of the group. But, when you're talking about the Niners, the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Browns, right there. Yeah, the Ravens are pretty good too, and now they've got MVP Lamar. No, I'm not going to call him playoff Lamar, right? We're not going to call him playoff Lamar ever, and look, I'm on Watson's bandwagon here right now a little. Right, it took time. It's taking time, Not only rust and all that, but the pressure that he might have been playing under. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm not referring necessarily to the whole story, the incidents, and all that. But when you're trying to make but you're also dealing with all these social pressures as you try to get it going a little bit. And he's looking pretty good. He's not quite even that old Houston Texans, but, he was last time, right? So things are starting to work out with him right now for sure. This total has dropped big time because, well, you got a division game. You know, this Browns defense is for real. They've given up 21 first downs. And the offense is good because they can run the ball. They can run the ball. The Browns are just playing great. Well, look, I think the move might be right. It opened, the look ahead was 44. It's all the way down here to 40 and a half. I might grade myself on 40 because I'm thinking I'm about to give the under here as my play. This is a home team dominated series. Ravens, they do cover division games on the road because all the games are pretty close and 3 points, kind of might be enough. I mean, Harbaugh is a road favorite's money. 14-4 last 18 against the spread. So you're going to have to buy it down if you take the Browns or maybe even take the money line. But I don't think I think the Browns, this feels like a kind of the shifting point a little bit. And the Ravens, the one thing, as strong as some of these numbers are, coming off a spread loss, the Ravens aren't that great. So when things aren't going, swimmingly, they can be in for kind of some tough games. So Cleveland's not very good. And Cleveland doesn't play back-to-back games very well, but it just feels like all this momentum a little bit. Even the look-ahead line in this game was Ravens 1.5, and now, you see where it is. In fact, it's 2.5 at a lot of places. So, Black Hole Bully, it's nice to have you here today representing Steeler Nation. And he's going to be, of course, familiar with the North Division. He says these teams are not as good as people think. I guess I'm people. Because right now these numbers look pretty serious. You think of Stefanski, right? Some of the goals, it seems like they're, fulfilling those goals a little bit. They're starting to check off some of the boxes. So, and yeah, I hope that, because this could be, obviously a good division, especially if the Steelers can get it going, get it back going a little bit, get back to their ways, if you will. And just be the Steelers. Look, hey, they already won that game over the Browns. No problem there. Remember, they weren't really. That was a game where the people kind of said, "Hey, Steelers, this is a game where they kind of need to prove themselves a little bit," and they came out like gangbusters. Kind of the way, right? Terrell, I remember that yesterday. Temple stand and I was on Temple, right? So I was. I don't know, Thomas. I don't know. I think this is a good division, right? The Browns look to be very high above average. I think is that what we're saying? All right. Anyways, let me get the under here in this one. That I have I trust what's going on with the Cleveland defense. I think we get that type of, North Division war here. And Browns run the ball. They run the ball. So I'll take the under here in this one. Okay, and so the Steelers and the Texans now, and I think so. I'm not going to talk about Fields and kind of talk about Stroud, but I've already said and been on here talking about how the rookie quarterbacks, and I'm pro this rookie quarterback group, even with some of the tailspins of some of these guys. Like I said, you have to measure. You just don't throw them in there and say, let's win the bowl. You've got to actually measure like a rookie quarterback. Just look for some signs of progress. Well, I think Stroud, it doesn't matter. I guess he could just be terrible and go right. But so far, Stroud's the winner for sure of all these guys, even with a 1-2 record. It just has looked pretty darn good, especially last week with the 9.3 yards per attempt. uh, winning that game by 20 points. So the problem is, Houston, if they could just get some type of running game, that might help in a game like this against the Steel. So Houston's been a pretty good cover. I mean, getting points at home here certainly seems kind of interesting. I just think here with Pittsburgh on the, this to me is going to end up as the total's 42, and I have a feeling this is going to end up being a lower scoring game. Now, Pittsburgh has won 5 of the last 6 meetings here, but they've been outgained also by about a 2-1 margin so far this season. Now, it's going to be different here, I would think, against the Texans. Their offense is still learning and growing, and Stroud's been, like I said, he's been decent. Considering he's a rookie quarterback, he's going to be decent. He's been decent. Now, in Pittsburgh's 2 wins, look, I think it's great that Pittsburgh's 2-1. I'm not saying they're necessarily down. I think they're, certainly this is overachieving, I think, kind of at this point, especially for the offense. Look, they scored 23 and 26 points in those 2 wins. Now, we know that defensive touchdowns, certainly against the Browns, but that's Steeler football. They're already +4. They've been forcing takeaways. They've been forcing takeaways for sure. I don't know what the numbers are, but I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. Pittsburgh's a crummy road favorite. We know that. It's not their role. They're 3-9 in their last 12, and they haven't been a road favorite in 3. I think the pandemic season. Since the pandemic season was the last time they were a road favorite. So that is a bit of an indication, and they are really good in tight games. When the spread is 3 points or less as a favorite, that's been their. I think when the spread is 3 points or less either way, the Steelers are great in those type of games. But for me, I'm going under here, 42 with this matchup. Rookie quarterback against the Steelers, still, no matter which way you look at it, and Pickett on the road. Yeah, you have rookie quarterback and rookie coach. So the Texans have a long way to go still. But I'm not challenging my Pittsburgh crew here today. I hope they come in and say that I'm, was wrong in this one, that the Steelers, maybe this offense is better. It is what we're seeing so far. Pickett's 9-6. No, that's how I kind of measure quarterbacks is by wins. So I'm going to take the under here in this one, and hope this is what we get from the Steelers. Thomas is on the Steelers here. Okay. All right, a couple more, you guys, and then we'll wrap up this show. Appreciate you very much. With the Rams and the Colts, well, this kind of feels. Look, the steam came in on the Rams. The game's currently a pick'em, and the total's up to 46 here in this one. And you have the Rams. I don't know if there's much wrong with it. They've been in every game. They've led or tied in I think all 3 games in the second half. They've been in the games, but they've just not been able to convert late in the second half. They've been chokers a little bit. So, and they could not get a first down for the life of them last week. 1-11 on third down. So the Rams under McVay, 20-13-2 against the spread off of a loss. Rams under in 8 of their last 10 on the road, but they should be able to, get the ball going here, I would think, against the Colts. Now, the Colts, hopefully, Anthony Richardson, I guess he could play in this game. I hope he does. I prefer him over Minshew all of a sudden, and I want to try to find my way to the Colts. I want Richardson in the game, and I want to take the Colts. Because Minshew, like I said, Minshew to me, I guess for the Colts or maybe a couple of other teams that if your starting quarterback went down in the fourth quarter, you need a guy to come in, maybe Gardner Minshew's okay in that spot to try to, will you to a victory. But I don't know if I necessarily want him starting the game. Mistakes happen, short fields happen. This game's going over, even with it being a pickup. I would look at this game normally and start by thinking under, but not right now. Not with the Rams. I think Stafford's Puka Nacua. This is a real situation with him, and I think it's going to make other receivers there. We saw the play by Van Jefferson, right? So I think the Rams offense can continue to improve here. I mean, when you got this combo on the road, the Rams could be they're live. I mean, this is a pickup. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to wait for the status of the quarterback to decide which way I want to go. I want the Colts. I'm going to go over in this game, even if it's Minshew. I'm probably going over because he might just make the mistakes that kind of help the total actually here get over. The Colts, look, they scored 53 points in 2 road games. The Colts, and so far the Colts have gone over in 2 of them, I think, at least, right? And the road team's been winning the Colts games for sure. All right, I'm going to take the over in this one. Hoping to take the Colts with Richardson. If Minshew's in there, I'm going to have to rethink it. I'm the spot is the Colts for me. I think the spot for most sharps are the Rams. Like I said, the Rams reportedly took some steam already. So I'm going to be on the over, though, for sure as my free play here. Buccaneers at Saints. The Saints here are favored by a field goal, and the total is currently at, look at this, 39.5. Wow. This total got as high as 42.5. But we know without Derek Carr and Jameis Winston in there now, is that really a downgrade necessarily? And we know Winston can make mistakes. Is he any downgrade from Carr necessarily where we're at this time? It almost feels like an interchangeable part to a certain extent. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be. I think it's Winston, right, from what we know right now. Now, the Saints have won 8 of the last 12 in this series, but the Bucs did win them both last year. And with this being a divisional game, it just feels like it's going to be very, very close. So far, division games, they've all, the division games, road teams are 10-5 against the spread so far. I mean, almost anything worth a field goal, like something like this, is worth taking to me. Now, the Saints have been getting off to strong starts. They've outscored their opponents 29-9 in the first half so far, with some good defense, no doubt about it. And I imagine, look where this total's headed now. And part of it was on the quarterback news, and yeah, you got Baker over there with the Bucs. It's obviously not anything special here at this point, even with these teams being 2-1. There are question marks offensively with these 2 teams for sure. I'm going to have to take a field goal. That's just the way it is. Now, the Buccaneers, 8-1 against the spread, coming off of a loss. But they're forcing turnovers to be a low score, figures to be a low-scoring game. Now, the Bucs they did play on Monday night. So far in 3 games, the Saints have allowed just 3 touchdowns on 31 drives so far. And but still, all these games are so close. The first 3 games so far, the Saints are 2-1, but the games have been decided by 5 total points. This series has gone under in 5 of the last 7 meetings here in the division, so I would think just a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Buccaneers +3. Of course, I'm going to buy a hook on something like this. I want to win, don't I? The Saints are actually pretty heavily juiced on that 3. It's going to cost you something to take the Bucks +3.5, +4, whatever you want to do. But division game feels like a close finish to me. Close, low-scoring game in this one. Is Derek Carr good, Thomas? That's all I would add. I'm just comparing Derek Carr to Jameis Winston. That's all. And the Saints are good enough here so far to be 2-1. So this is all right. Okay, Commanders and Eagles. Look, Eagles. Well, that was a great, very strong performance, certainly. And now the Eagles are going to be favored. They're up to a 9-point favorite here. But let's still call it what it is, man. This is another division, right? Another division game. I mean, I don't really have a Commander. Remember, they're 2-1. They had the great comeback here. They've given up a ton of points. We know that. They probably will. They might here too. But at 9 points, this is pro football, right? It's going to be pretty hard to get me off the Commanders in this game. The Eagles have gone 9-3 straight up, the last 12 in this series. And the Eagles, what can you say? I mean, they've scored what? 85 points so far. More than that, 90 points so far. They've been running the ball well. I would think they're going to, win this game and not cover. This one could look division game, I know, but I like the total. I like the fact the total's been going down. This one. It might be a division game. I might end up on the over here, actually. The Commanders, look, Howell is not an answer for anybody. He's not the answer, I'm sure, for the Commanders, but that's who they have. Washington's been going under something fierce. They've gone under in 12 of their last 16. And the Commanders don't exactly, drive all the way down the field. I mean, they need a little defense. They need to use a little bit of field position. But, and they're not even that great as road dogs. But at 9 points, I'm going to take the Commanders here. I love the Eagle, the Eagles hype. It's all good, man. Go Eagles. They're great. And it's a pro football game. We'll be on the Commanders plus 9 points. It's going to be hard for me not to get on them here. I don't know. What do you guys say? Am I crazy? All right. Couple of comments here in this one. Not much, but appreciate it. Thanks, Thomas, as always. All right, one more day game, then I'm out of here for the day. Appreciate you sticking with me here on the Morning Steam, your first live look at sports betting on YouTube. All the shows coming up here still for the day here. We're taking a look at, this is the Bengals and the Titans in this one with the Bengals here. Do I got the time right? Yeah, this is a 10 o'clock game. What was I thinking? Obviously, bit of a move here. Bengals on the look-ahead line was as high as 4.5. went all the way down to as low as 1.5. Now it's sitting at 2. It's sitting at 2.5. Let me update the line. 2.5 and 40.5. Bengals on the road. Bengals on the road is road favorite. You probably know what I'm already thinking there. Now this total has gone down from an opener of a look ahead of 44, open around 41.5 or so, and now all the way down to 40.5. Now Cincinnati did play that Monday night, one of those Monday night games, and won. Burrow, he said, "Hey, I'm kind of going against the team's orders here," and he played in the game, and they got it done. Bengals offense has not been good this season. They only have 3 touchdowns on 32 drives so far. It has not been going well. The Titans lost 2 games where they didn't even score a touchdown. They scored 27 in their other one. They've lost 9 of their last 10. They're kind of one of the worst teams right now going, technically. But they are 6-2 against the spread their last 8 times as a home underdog. And, the Bengals, you feel like they still need to win. Black Hall Bully is on the Bengals. And so is Ray. And so is Thomas. Wow. See, and I kind of wanted to be on the Titans here. Titans, they get off to such slow starts, but man, has this franchise really just, Cincinnati's won 7 of the last 9 meetings. The Bengals have also been covering spreads here, but these games are usually even tighter line. They're pretty tightly lined. The Titans are still 28-18-2 in their last 48 off of a loss. So I'm going to be on the Titans in this one, plus, points at home in a division game. I'm just not sure I can pass it up. And, of course, I'll be buying it up to key numbers and paying juice on it. That's the way I roll. I'm against all those guys. If this were baseball and they played it like this, I wouldn't worry about it. They play 1 time a week. I'm going to make sure I've got 3s, 3.5s, and more in my pocket if I'm playing the game. So, yeah, Tannehill has not looked great. I know what it says, Thomas. You don't worry about that. And, he's making a lot of money. He's supposed to be better than he has looked so far. Right now, the Titans should be better than they've looked over the last half of a season, for sure. They've been in the tank. They've been not performing well. So I'm going to try them here against the Bengals in a game that both teams, obviously, neither of these teams want to go 1-3 right now and be in that situation. Oh, yes, okay. Yes. Well, but and he's kind of the guy that, was supposed to have resurrected this or gotten this situation together. All right, I'm on the Titans here in this one. Appreciate you guys joining me. Let me at least get back to the title screen, get off the air here, but I'm going to give out some CFL right now. They won't let me sell it, so I better give it to you. Hey, I've got a side and total here for you in the first game tonight. I'm taking Winnipeg at home, laying 8 points tonight against Toronto. And I'm going under 48. That's tonight in CFL action. Probably just giving the picks. I really need to get out of here. I have some analysis here, but better just stick with the picks here. Had some players that I liked. I was going to maybe recite them, but let me just give out these CFL plays here with Winnipeg at home, lay more than a touchdown against Toronto. Yeah, I think for Toronto here, look, it's late in the season, so Toronto, with that great record, I mean, this is a high-profile matchup, certainly, but I think Winnipeg favored by this big number, right, for a reason. You got Dukes in there playing quarterback this week. Winnipeg is certainly in a situation they should be able to take down Toronto here with that great defense as well. So even though Winnipeg's 10-4, Toronto is 12-1. The line shows you exactly what's going on in this game. The fact that Winnipeg is favored by such a big number over the best team in the league. Take Winnipeg tonight and the under. This one certainly looks like it's probably headed for something around, 24-14 or something like that tonight. All right, and in the late game between Saskatchewan and British Columbia, I have the over 50 in this one. I think you can find a better number than that right now, but I'm going to give you out this rough line so that when you get to the window, you'll play it. I do like it to go over tonight with Saskatchewan and British Columbia. Vernon Adams should have a pretty big night, I would think, for BC tonight. I think Mizell will also run big here to leave things wide open for BC here. They might be able to get the money too, but 10 points so far looks a little large. I'm going to take over in Saskatchewan and BC on Friday night. CFL action. That's it. Thanks a lot, everybody. Head on over to Tony'sPicks.com and use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Check out our premium pick packages for today. Click on the All Cappers tab. Find the handicapper of your choice. Kind of in order here at some of the top cappers, and click on the capper of your choice and get signed up. You can check out my records here for the season, see which ones I'm doing well in. Like I said, just take a look at the last 30 days. NFL right there, 27-11-2. WNBA 5-3. MMA 7-2-1. So last 7 days. Also have a good college football record here, 8-5. So check me out. Look at. Here's something you don't find all the kids. So like on 2023, I'm profitable in all these categories. And in 2022, I was also profitable in more categories than any other capper on the site. So check me out. All my results are there as well. You can just go through my history. Look, there they were. There were some losses last night, no doubt. But before that, plenty of wins. We're rolling in, and we'll get back at it tonight. That's the way it's rolling right now, it feels like. So why not pick up a three-day pass with me over at the website right now, hang out with me for the weekend. Especially that's the best way to get some of my FCS action as well. The packages is kind of late with FCS, and really been clicking on all of my FCS picks. So grab my 3-day all sports pass for this weekend and use the promo code TonyT at checkout. That'll run you just $79. You and me will ride all weekend. If you ride with me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, probably going to be, I'll just roughly say 30 picks there. So basically, $250 a pick maybe. So I'd appreciate it, and I think we'll have some fun together, and hopefully we can celebrate on Monday. All right. Check me out over at Tony'sPicks.com. Like I said, $79. Probably, I'm thinking 27 plays at the least is what I feel like with Saturday's action. Probably have well more than a dozen, I would think, this week. All right, that's it for the morning steam. Don't forget, live programming here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Midday Plays comes up at 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 Pacific. Then the drive-through with the Pick Dogs crew, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you again tomorrow. We'll have plenty of college football previews tomorrow. Probably get all those night games. We'll talk about all those night games, any games that are left also in the Major League Baseball playoffs, or Major League Baseball pennant races, playoff chases as well. Thanks for joining me here on the Morning Steam. This has been Ramon Scott.